We live in an era of the extreme food challenge, where success is measured by how much physical pain a person can endure on camera. It's built on the assumption that if a meal is difficult to finish, it must be high quality. Shiv, a dhaba owner, lived by this logic. He didn't care about subtle flavors or repeat customers. He cared about who could finish a plate of his biryani without begging for a glass of water. This chart shows the specific metric Shiv used to validate his talent. In his kitchen, a successful dish followed this exact curve. By the third or fourth bite, the customer should be consuming water at a faster rate than they are eating. When a man named Gopi arrived with his wife Kavita, Shiv expected the usual. He watched from the kitchen, waiting for the spice to break Kavita's composure and prove his cooking was as strong as he claimed. But Kavita didn't flinch. She finished the entire plate with a calm expression, showing none of the sweating or gasping Shiv relied on to feel superior. In that moment, Shiv's entire system of measurement fell apart. If the spice didn't cause suffering, he didn't know how to prove the food was any good at all. Shiv didn't respond by trying to make a better tasting meal. Instead, he saw Kavita's enjoyment as a personal defeat and decided to treat his next dish like a retaliatory strike. He began crafting what he called a volcanic biryani. He wasn't looking for a recipe, he was looking for an escalation. This radar chart shows the dish's profile. Ingredients maximized the capsaicin spike, while sweetness, acidity, and umami were removed. Compared to his standard offering, the heat was aggressively concentrated. He left out cooling agents like yogurt, trying to engineer a physical surrender. He brought the volcanic dish to Kavita, convinced that this time she would have no choice but to admit he had won. Kavita took a bite, then another. She didn't cry out in pain. Instead, she smiled and told Shiv the flavors were wonderful, enjoying the very thing he had intended to be an attack. This is where Shiv hit a wall. Because his only goal was to cause a reaction of pain, seeing a customer find joy in his food felt like a total failure of his craft. By the next day, Shiv was convinced his talent had simply vanished. He sat in his kitchen with the stoves cold. Kavita returned, but she didn't want another challenge. She brought a tiffin carrier with her grandmother's biryani, offering it to Shiv not as a contest, but as a gift. Tasting it, Shiv was moved to tears. He realized he hadn't tasted anything made with that kind of balance in years. This diagram shows why that recipe felt different. Instead of a single spike of aggression, it shows a symmetrical distribution of heat, acid, and aromatics. Every ingredient was mapped to work together, creating a sense of warmth rather than a sharp attack. Shiv finally understood that the grandmother hadn't been trying to prove anything. Her dish was designed for connection, which made his obsession with dominance look small. Shiv realized he'd been cooking to win a fight rather than to feed people. He'd been optimizing for the wrong result. This gets to the core of creative intent. Why you make something, whether it's to help someone or just to satisfy your own ego, actually changes what that thing is worth to the person using it. When Shiv went back to his stoves, he didn't reach for the hottest peppers. He started tasting for balance, looking for ways to give his customers a better experience instead of a harder one. This applies to any job. Using skills to show off or making others feel inferior results in work that feels empty. Real mastery isn't the ability to overpower an audience. It's the ability to use your skills to give them something of value.